CCI, Crash Course Instrumentation, presents episode 13, Flanges, Gaskets and Blinds, RF versus RTJ plus positive isolation, hook and promise. If you have ever tightened a flange until your arm ached and it still wept, this episode is for you. By the end, you will be able to choose the right flange face, handle gaskets like a pro, torque bolts the smart way, and use blinds and spectacle blinds for unmistakable isolation. Roadmap: raised face versus ring-type joint, gasket types, and the little handling rules that prevent leaks. Bolting and cross-pattern torque in plain language. Blinds, spades, and spectacle blinds for positive isolation. RF versus RTJ, what they are, and when to use them. A raised face, or RF flange, has a small step on the face. That step concentrates load on a soft gasket, so it flows and seals tiny surface scratches. A ring-type joint, or RTJ flange, has a machined groove. A solid metal ring sits in the groove and crushes to make the seal. It is the go-to for very high pressure or high temperature where soft gaskets would extrude. Simple rule of thumb: start with raised face for most process services. Step up to ring-type joint when pressures and temperatures climb or when the specification requires it. Think about maintenance. RF is faster to enter for routine work. RTJ is tougher, but usually slower to open and close because ring placement must be perfect. Gaskets, materials, storage, and autopsy clues. Soft gaskets include fiber, graphite, and polytetrafluoroethylene blends. Spiral-wound gaskets combine metal and soft filler for strength with conformability. RTJ uses precision metal rings of specified profile. Match the gasket to the fluid, temperature, and pressure rating. If the stamp or label is unreadable, replace it with a clearly marked part rather than guessing. Keep gaskets flat, clean, and dry. Do not fold them, do not stack heavy tools on them, and do not paint or coat them unless the procedure says so. Never reuse a crushed gasket or a ring joint ring. A fresh seal is cheaper than a shutdown. Autopsy clues. A crushed inner edge points to over-torque. A shiny blowout track means under-torque or the wrong type. Uneven imprint shows warped faces or a bad tightening pattern. And bolting done right. Patterns, stages, and records. Use clean studs and nuts. Lightly lubricate threads and nut faces with the approved product for your site, so torque turns into clamping force instead of friction. Tighten in a cross pattern in stages, for example 1/3, 2/3, then full torque. Walk the circle more than once. Slow and even beats fast, and uneven. Use a calibrated torque wrench. Record the final torque values and your initials. That little note saves the next technician time and doubt. If the procedure calls for a hot retorque after warm-up and cool down, follow it. Thermal cycles relax gaskets and studs. Pattern blinds and spectacle blinds. Positive isolation you can see. A blind flange is a solid plate that stops flow. A paddle blind, sometimes called a spade, slides between flanges to isolate, while its partner spacer restores flow. A spectacle blind combines both pieces on a tab, so you can flip between open and closed without losing the parts. The circular plate looks like a pair of eyeglasses, which is how it got the name. Use blinds when you need absolute visible isolation for maintenance or testing. Verify the pressure rating and size match the line. Install a suitable gasket on both sides of a paddle blind. Lockout and tag out. Then add a clear tag that states blinded and which side is solid. Make the state obvious to everyone walking by. And safety micro drill before you crack a flange. Depressurize, drain, and vent. Prove zero energy with the right gauges and bleeds. Stand out of the potential jet path. Use the far side first loosening habit so any residual pressure moves away from you. Wear the right gloves and face protection. Even cold service can throw debris or trapped liquid. On startup, increase pressure gradually and check for weeps. A mirror or a piece of card can help spot tiny leaks safely. History moment. As plants grew bigger in the early to mid-20th century, maintenance teams needed isolation devices that were obvious even from a distance. The spectacle blind spread because you could glance at a flange pair and tell if the solid plate or the open ring was in place. Simple, visible safety that stuck. Quick recap: raised face uses soft gaskets and is fast to work on. Ring-type joint uses a metal ring for tough pressure and temperature. Handle gaskets gently, match them to the service, and never reuse crushed seals. Clean bolting, cross-pattern tightening in stages, and good records prevent leaks and rework. Blinds and spectacle blinds provide unmistakable isolation when you need it most. Teaser and credits. Next up is episode 14. Tapered threads versus straight threads. Why sealant matters, how O-rings actually seal, and the small shop habits that stop leaks before they start. Special thanks to Tony Kuphaldt and the open source community. Crash Course Instrumentation stands on your shoulders. If this helped, please like and subscribe and share it with a classmate or a co-worker.